Well, first off, the property manager should make sure that after the notice period expires, they're still entitled to pursue eviction. We've previously talked about 2 different pre-suit notices in residential evictions, including a 30-day notice for terminating a month-to-month at-will tenancy and a 5-day notice to quit due to the tenant's failure to pay rent. When terminating a month-to-month at-will tenancy on a holdover tenant, the property manager generally has a right to move forward with filing for eviction once the notice period expires, because the eviction is not for cause. But with a 5-day notice to quit for failure to pay rent, the tenant has a statutory right to cure their failure to pay rent. This means that if the tenant pays all back rent owed and gets current during that 5-day window, the property manager can no longer evict the tenant for simply failing to pay rent. But in instances where the tenant does not cure this failure and remains delinquent when the 5-day notice period expires, then the property manager can move forward with filing for eviction. To file for eviction, you'll need to work with an attorney who will prepare and file a petition and summons with the county court clerk to start the process. Once those documents are filed, a hearing on the eviction will generally take place in small claims court, and the hearing must be set between 5 and 10 days after the summons is issued by the court clerk. After obtaining the summons and petition, your attorney will arrange for service of those documents on the tenant. And it's important to remember one key thing here. Service of the petition and summons looks very similar to service of the pre-suit notice on the tenant. But if the process server is only able to get constructive service, that is, service by posting the petition and the summons on the door of the dwelling unit, there are consequences for this. Under Title 12, Section 1148.5a in Oklahoma statutes, if constructive service is used and the tenant does not show up at the hearing, then the property manager cannot get any judgment for unpaid rent. The only relief that can be awarded in those circumstances is the return of the property. So if the property manager really wants to obtain a money judgment for unpaid rent, then the process server will need to obtain actual service on the tenant rather than just constructive service by posting.